Hello and welcome back to Thoughts from a Cluttered Mind. There were no comments in my last video, so I shall not be making a video pertaining to them. And with that said, let's get into today's topic. I decided today that my topic would be upon the concept of time travel. You read about it in books, in magazines, you see it in movies, and even in video games. And ultimately, it's portrayed as something you can do, something you can go back in time to stop something, to prevent something, to ultimately correct an issue. And in each of these instances, this is not something, honestly, in my opinion, that can be feasible. Now, bear with me here. I'm not a scientist, so I don't know. All I know is probability and chance and things of that nature, and from what I can kind of work out, similar to a chessboard. If a piece is taken, you want to therefore take the piece that took it. Or in this instance, let's take for an example Hitler. You want to go back and prevent Hitler from ever happening, prevent all the things that lead up from him happening. Well, you go back in time to do so, but you can't. Now, mind you, there's got to be something in the way of this happening, or else it would make no sense, because you cannot have A without B, meaning you cannot have an event and then the things after it. So you go back in time to prevent Hitler, however, you would then not be able to because you'd have no reason to go back in time to, in the first place, to do it. If you erase something from happening, you then remove the need for you to go back in time and prevent it, such as someone in the future having time travel and wishing to go back and save a dinosaur from, or correction, save the dinosaurs from a meteor. Well, he couldn't, because then if he did do so, and through evolution and blah blah blah, and gets back to the point where you have time travel capability again, there'd be no reason to go back in time to prevent it from happening, because you did prevent it. This is when the ideal of a paradox or layered dimension or other dimension or whatever you wish to call it, the basically splitting off of the time, the returning back to your time, which therefore ends because you have changed it. You have prevented your future by therefore going in the past and doing something. Even a minuscule thing perhaps could have big events and big ramifications. Stealing a loaf of bread in the past. Well, who could have eaten that bread and potentially survived a depression or something of that nature? Anything you do in the past would have effects on the future. Therefore, the idea that you can go back in the past to do anything is not possible, because therefore it would erase the reason for you to go back and do it in the first place. People fighting in a war and they want to go back and save a comrade of theirs. Well, you can't do that, because by doing it, you're erasing the desire to go back in time and do it. So therefore, when it splits, you cease your entire timeline, your entire world from existence by doing so. Because by you doing it, everything that leads up past that is changed, and therefore does not exist, perhaps. And therefore, a split happens. It's these splits that would potentially try and correct time issues. Where this happens, everything changes from that point. And that is why I think that time travel is potentially possible one day. It's just one of those things, again, as mentioned with my cloning video. Being that you can do it, should you? And ultimately, my viewpoint is no, because the likelihood of something happening, even inadvertently, is way too great of a risk. You could step on a bug, and again, something very small could have very big effects in the future because of a domino effect. And the reasoning that people have, oh, to go and observe. Well, yeah, that would be great, but you cannot take into consideration potential hazards. The killing of a bug, the killing of a person, the witnessing of something, the going into the past to change or correct something causes issues. And also, this goes for traveling to the future. If you have the capability to travel in time, either back or forward, to see the future, you then would be stuck in the future. You cannot return to your time. The reason being is because you have witnessed things. Even your just basic knowledge of something is drastically different than what it would have been. And you coming back, even inadvertently, you would know things, you would say things, you would do things. You may even just residually have things to your person that could ultimately thwart your time. So going backward in time would not be possible. The past is not set in stone, so to speak, because things are up for interpretation by the victor, usually, as it's mentioned. History is wrote by the victor. However, the events, key things, are. The past is the past. The future is constantly shifting, constantly changing, and that's all because of the present. We live, each of us, with the capability of creating a future worth living. The past is the past. There's nothing you can do about it. Unfortunate as it may be, it is what it is. You only have the capability to create a future that is as you would like it to be. Your future is really in your hands by that which you do in the present. You can do everything you can in order to get the future you want. And that ultimately is a good thing, I think. Even the people that do crime to get money, I don't agree with that. But it is something they are doing in the present to get a future that they want. I don't agree with it, but it is within their power, within their capability. Now, this is a little way from the topic of time traveling, but it really isn't at the same time either, because past is the past. Going back to prevent anything, to do anything, has way too many ramifications. Even just witnessing it could have implications that could completely end the future you came from, while going into the future traps you there. You would never be able to come to the past because of the fact of you being there. You are affecting the future. You actually become a part of it, and therefore you aren't capable of ever returning back to those that you wish to see again, those you wish to love, or whatever. So really, the only thing we have is each and every one of us are kind of time travelers. We hold within us the knowledge of the pasts, and again, written by the victor usually, so it's up to us to find the truth, with also the memories of our own past that, unfortunate as it may be, help and guide us to reach a future. And I think we should all strive to make a future we can all live with, regardless of anything, race, religion, anything like that. We should all strive for a future we can all live in at peace. That's my thoughts on this. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye.